Hello everybody and welcome back to Animal Crossing New Leaf. I've been awake for a while, like too long honestly. um like I ended up because, you know, Saturday I got to bed a little late, and then I basically set myself up to try to wake up a bit early so I could help someone moderate their chat, because they were going to be doing a watch party for the Final Fantasy 14 keynote that happened a couple days ago. To inspire Steven, before I completely forget it, I'll tell you something, which is why I'm written now. Your name, Steven. Very opera. My heart's telling me so. O'Hare, stop it. Get some help. Have you been? I've made to Germany. My gift to you is a very useful item, a nutcracker. You can chat in on walnuts all you want. I don't want walnuts, though. But I mean, I'll put it in storage. Of which I do actually have a few thoughts on the 14 keynote. I know I don't talk 14 the most, and when I do, it's rarely glowingly positive. I am mildly optimistic, though, for a few things they announced, depending on if I can even experience them. One of these things is they're basically going to be reworking every job to have an alternative control scheme that not only will be ever so slightly better damage output. There we go. I'm pretty sure... Yeah, there's literally both bugs. We got an ant, an Excaliburant, or whatever they said. And we also got a fly! Quite the buzzkill. And now we don't need this on the ground anymore. We got literally both the bugs. But it's apparently going to be slightly better, this new control scheme, or skill scheme, or however it's going to be. But also... simpler. Reduced button inputs. Which, during the keynote, when they first announced there was going to be an alternate control scheme, everybody was cheering super loudly. Then they announced it was going to be simpler, and you could hear the cheers basically cut in half. And then they announced that it was going to be slightly better than using the old control scheme, which will still be around for old jobs, but not any new jobs being added. And the crowd basically deflated. Like, it was really funny. Morning, Steven. So what's on your mind? I want to chat. Any ocean fishing? Been doing all this research on fish, but we need an ocean fish. RG wants an ocean fish. I do need to, like, get through my daily routine stuff kind of quickly so I can find Joan buy turnips, because I already started doing morning routine stuff. So I kind of have to get around to this. It's for some exercise, we you'll need. Oh, chat. Fruit. It's full of vitamins, you know. Signal what fruit gives some extra pep. Now I feel like I need to eat some. A fruit for me. Alright, man. I'll get you a fruit. I mean, literally, like, there's just oranges right here. Hi, Frisk. I am recording, you know. I'm having deja vu, didn't we just talk? You wanna eat this? You wanna eat this ant? With rotten turnips? Oh, looks good. Oh, yes. That's the stuff. Oh yeah, I want to pay you back with my Sunday tank. You don't need a tank on Sundays. Who fights on Sunday? Frisk, why are you like this? That is just kind of annoying. Well, there's Joan. What's the damage this week, Joan? 110. I'm definitely only buying 1,000. That's basically the tippy top of my comfort range for buying them at. But Yeah, the other thing that has me, like, mildly optimistic on top of the job change is the free trial itself is getting expanded again. Which, you know, I've been told many times that Shadowbringer's really good, and apparently it's got some real emotional moments to it. I feel like I'm gonna end up being a massive jerk when I really just am not actually emotional at anything. But... and like, I've literally had moments where... because people are so, like, dead set jeez, on, you know, the Final Fantasy XIV story is such a good story, and it's you know, it's a Final Fantasy game first, and it's so emotional, and it's like, oh, but like the end of Heavensward with the two dragons fighting and the song in the background, it's like, yeah, see, there's a problem here, is I don't care about either of them. And I know there'd be people that would be like, but how could you not care? It's like, well, because the game hasn't helped me care. Like, I know I go back to this a lot, and I do kind of directly compare 14 to PSO2. They're basically, in my mind, they're sister animes. They basically came out at the same time, to a very similar audience, and are both being made by a big company. Like, they're, you know, they may as well be this, you know, they should be compared. Especially where they kind of target the same audience. But like, PSO2, as much as there are characters that I'm not a big fan of, like Affin, it still gives you reason to care about Affin. Like, he starts as kind of the annoying, you know, whiny, doesn't really want to be here ARCS operative. But he grows into, you know, one of the most determined people, because you don't know why he's joined ARCS until much later, and I almost don't want to say why he joined ARCS because it's a pretty big spoiler. Like, this is one of the first, basically, minor characters you meet, and meeting him plays a major role in the story of the game. There have been so many minor characters that I've encountered in 14, that past that encounter, I've never seen them again. They're just gone. They don't matter. They could have been nameless NPC number 53, and they'd have the same impact. Because they don't matter. Like, the dragons. Well, I'd encountered Hraesvelgar, like, twice? Like, it's been pleasant today, hasn't it? Bang. What would you like to talk about? Small chat. So, Dumpling, I've been thinking how nice it would be to visit your house. How about it? It's a visit. Be flamenco dancing with O'Hare for a little bit. That's an hour from now. I can't... If you'd wanted noon, I could do noon. Noon would be fine. But like, no, I think we met Hraesvelgar 3 times in total before this scene. Nidhogg, the only time you have encountered him has been as a boss. Cheddar, good to see you, Steph. What's up? What's the latest? Hey, Steph, keep hearing people say you're totally a flower fan. Hey, Chelsea, you're the center of attention right now. It's supposed to be my job. Just keep watering flowers. Just water them. All of them. All the time. Pinky! You're looking so you today, Dumpling. What's going on? What's the latest? And to Penelope the other day, she said she was thinking of moving away. But Frisk. Get out here. No, get out here. Frisk. What is your problem? Why are you being bad? Not even looking at me. Yeah, you. That's no excuse. You gotta be good. You gotta be a good kitty. You don't run your tower and be good. Annoying little rat. But like, you know, and it's not like, oh, it's emotional because like, oh, like, Nidhogg's redeeming. No, Nidhogg is being Nidhogg. Nidhogg is being racist. That's the best way of putting it, even though it's more speciesist. It's the easiest just to say racist. That entire expansion is just racists fighting racists. Like, I wish I was joking, but that's basically the entire expansion. Because it's the Ishgardians, who hate dragons in every form, with all the fibers of their being, and the dragons, who hate humans, and specifically Ishgardians, with all their being. You get some Ishgardians and some dragons that don't just hate each other's guts. Mel bro, this Oracle resident has a suggestion. Next town project, let's run the lighthouse. Oh, a lighthouse would be so smoking hot. Listen what mayor, seriously, we might be able to put the lighthouse down in like the bottom right corner. You know, I don't have time to poke around for this final fossil. It's somewhere. I haven't seen it. I might see it later. Let's talk with Penelope more as well. Can't believe she's moving and she didn't even tell me. But like, I mean, like, Hraesvelgar is one of those examples. But Hraesvelgar is more in the camp of, he just doesn't care. It's not that he likes Ishgardians, he just simply doesn't care. He's only helping you so that you leave him alone. That's all he wants. He's not helping you because he's actually a good dragon. No, he just wants you to stop bugging him. And helping you is the fastest way to make that happen. Like, and like the song playing in the background, like, it's you know, on its own, it's a decently emotional song. But taken in the context of the scene, it's just playing because the two dragon brothers are fighting with each other. Whoop-de-doo. Like, it really also just doesn't help that, like, 90% of the time, you as the player rarely feel like you're anybody important. And knowing that the game pokes fun at that later just kind of makes it worse, in my opinion. Save it. Sure, boys are running in today. 6-7, need something? Let's chat. I'd send tendency to risk. Get out here. Excuse you. Again. Why? No. No, you're answering me. Why? Why are you being bad? Don't even look at me. You know you're being bad. Why are you being bad? Why are you being bad? Fine. Over onto the stool. Jeez. Don't make me put you in timeout. Because I will. A tendency to buy completely different things than what I came in here to get in the first place. I mean, when you never know what's going to be in here, that's just going to happen. You can't come here to get something outside of furniture. I mean, paper, but even then. And, like, even seeing some of the later stuff, like, watching someone play through Dawn Trail. Yeah, you're definitely not important. Isn't Steven? Came to do some shopping today. Meow. It's fair, meow. I'm good, just one chat. Put you into a glorious spring. You feel, bet you're feeling better. Picked up some new clothes. There's none to pick up. Might be some accessories, but I really need to get to retail, sell stuff, and then go buy turnips. Of which I do have the money already on me to buy 1,000 turnips. But, like, even in the most recent stuff, like, it's, the beast lady that people are very divided on, that is basically the main character. You're just there as a prop. Which, given you are the warrior of light, you shouldn't feel like just a prop. You know, you should be the center of everything going on. But you're not. Which really doesn't help to care about the story. Because if the story doesn't care about you, well, then why would you care? You know, it's kind of just one of those things of like, it's one of the reasons why Fallout 4 is just kind of meh, is because it's not really an RPG. Your choices that you make don't matter, because the game doesn't care what choices you made. It's telling its story regardless. Like, you don't matter. It's also why there's basically no real interesting characters in Fallout 4. Is because, well, they're just not. They don't care about you, they give you no reason to care about them, and you just kind of passively exist around them. I mean, like, I know this is a bit of a cliche thing, but again, using PSO2 as an example, there are like 3 or 4 characters that openly admit to having crushes on your character specifically, and will talk to you in, you know, ways that show they deeply care about you. And, you know, it adds so much, and also helps you to care about those characters. Like, now, I mean, it can create instances like me and O'Hare here in New Leaf, where O'Hare has really been coming on very strong, and I'm not sure I like that, but I don't like that in terms of I'm making a joke out of it. Like, it is endearing him to me in a way. Like, but like, I mean, just imagine Animal Crossing if none of your villagers said anything directly relating to you in the slightest. You're not going to enjoy that experience. It's not going to feel like you matter at all in any way. I can't give Margie a sea bass. Too common. I think I've already given her a squid, so I need to keep that in mind. like, I am kind of looking forward to playing Shadowbringers just to see. And it also means that I will be able to start trying Dancer, which I know I'm gonna dislike. Maybe if I had played it before giving, before, like, jumping hard into Jet Boot Bouncer in PSO2, maybe I would have liked it, but I don't think I'm gonna like it anymore. I mean, I might still like it just because it does play differently than other classes, just in the fact that it is gambling the class. Also, I just realized I ended up bumping the little frickin' box of this thing and turning it down. Love that. The only thing I find kind of annoying with a lot of the stuff with their keynote is probably like 70-80% of it was, here's a basic idea. We'll tell you more in July. Like, then why announce it now? Like, I understand hype, but like, why announce it now if it's not even remotely close to being ready? Because, like, especially, okay, maybe I've just been in the gaming sphere for too long, but when a game developer steps onto stage and goes, here's this cool idea that we'll tell you about later, I think back to No Man's Sky. Anyone remember that? When they made a ton of promises of what their game would be, how it would work. And then the game released and had virtually none of them because it was that developer had basically just been going on stage and spouting random crap to drum up hype. And I know if I were to say that to, like, one of my friends who plays Penelope. Hey, I wanted to talk to you about something. I think about moving away. Probably on the 6th of next month. Seems like a super good time for me. Anyway, I was worried about telling you, but there it is. Aww. Well, she does sound pretty sad, so bye. Well, thanks for hearing me out. Hang on, I can tell you're totally choked up, but you're hiding it. I'm sad, I can't leave you with feeling like this. Oh, forget it, I'm not moving. Aw, I mean, she's not wrong. Alright, Margie, brought you something. Brought you a dab. It's a dab of ocean fish. Hey, a dab! Thanks for bringing me one. It's even more amazing than I imagined. Here, my way of saying thanks. Get a shirt. It's an earthy knit shirt. I know you're busy, so thank you again for taking the time out. Aww. Not really all that busy, though. I just kind of yap and be depressed. So that's just kind of what I do. I am going to be really trying to, like, motivate myself into streaming more. Because, like, I need to stream more. And I might just... Okay, that would be super cute in your house, so that's fine. It's mobile. We don't normally make impulse purchases, but bye. It's a good deal too, then I'll buy it. Excuse me, I'd like to buy this. Wait to get home and try it out. Get some more things to sell. But, I think also Gunbreaker will become available, so I could try that as a tank, even though, like, I'm not really... Okay. I usually don't mind playing tanks in MMOs, but 14, I really don't like it because of how the player base is. What? Oh, you got an itch? You had to scream about it first? Yeah. Yeah. But, like, I really do not like how the player base in 14 is when it comes to tanking or healing. Because, like, way too many healers are of the mindset of the only hit point that matters is the last one, and as long as you're above one, you're good. When, no. No, you're not good, because a confident tank is going to be a better tank. If that tank is not confident in your ability to keep him alive, he is not going to tank the way you want him to. Like, it's just how it's gonna be. Like, you can't expect somebody that you're barely keeping alive to be confident that they can take more aggro, for one. Like, that's something a lot of healers don't seem to understand. Like, let's imagine for a moment that you're my tank, and I'm healing you. I'm gonna keep playing. I'm just gonna sit on the rock while I do this. You know, you're the tank. I'm your healer, and I'm keep. You know, we get into the first couple pulls. You grab 2 groups, and I'm letting your HP drop to, like, basically the point where if you took one more hit, you die, and then I heal you. If you're a reasonable person, you're probably gonna be there going, this is the max I can tank, because I'm barely staying up. Because that tank isn't gonna notice that you're healing them at that same point and DPSing in between. They're a little too busy watching the ground and trying to make sure that they're not pulling an area attack into the DPSs. They're not watching for you to be casting things. They may not even overly notice that you're not healing them constantly, because, they might figure, oh, it's just your small heals are, slowly making me drop, and it's your big heals are getting me back. That might be what they think. That is a reasonable thought process. Yet, to a lot of 14 healers, that's apparently very unreasonable, because that tank should just have 100% full confidence in the healer all the time. Even though I've done that, and it's led to me dying so many times. Like, you can't have confidence in a healer in 14, because even testing them to get a feel for them, of grabbing those first 2 groups and, okay, how well do they keep me up? You can't overly know unless you're spending those first 2 groups watching their cast bars to see if they're DPSing more than healing. And even then, that may not be a good indication that they can actually keep you up. That might be an indication that they actually want to be playing a DPS and queued as a healer because it's faster. It happens. Yeah, this actually works really well if I do this as a 2-wide path. Like, it's very much one of those things where the players doing this don't seem to understand why it's a problem, and that in of itself is also a problem. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it seems pretty obvious why a lot of tanks don't overly trust their healers, and why a lot of tanks have been pushing and the developers have responded for more self-sufficiency, to not need a healer as often. And it's just simply because you can't really trust them. You can't trust them to actually do their jobs. And then they'll complain when things go wrong, because in their mind, you didn't do your job when they let you down. Which, bit messed up if you ask me. Like, I have never once, in any of my time playing MMOs, never once have I stopped and blamed the healer unless I've, saw them just simply not press buttons. Like, a lot of the times where I've had issues of healers letting me die, it's been healers who have pushed me to, wall to wall. Even though I don't, for one, I don't know where in wall-to-walls to use mitigations, because not all of them do you even need to use a mitigation. I can't know that unless I wall-to-wall more, or read guides, and I'm sorry, I'm not reading a guide. I'm not doing it. If the game cannot adequately explain to me the mechanics, then that informs me that the game was not intended to be played the way people are playing it. It's just a result of the game design that it's even possible. It's an unintended result, presumably. So, can you blame me, really? I don't think you can. I'm sure some people would anyway, but... I need to get rid of this apple tree. I'm really gonna need to come through and, clear trees out at some point. That'll be, my next goal before I really continue flower paths, because a lot of these trees need to go, and I'm gonna need to plant more trees, but I know now I can put some trees up here, and, Which, I will say, I'm a little worried about their alternate gameplay, because I'm honestly a little worried that what they're going to end up doing is basically nerfing the things that people complain the most about that aren't exactly that job's purpose. Like tanks being able to keep themselves alive. Well, it's not their job to keep themselves alive outside of using mitigations, which are not exactly there to keep them alive. Those mitigations are there to make the healer's job easier. Which is also where, you'll hear healers say quite often of, oh, well, if the tank dies, I can, quite often keep, the pulls up on a wall-to-wall, just even on a DPS. It's well, yeah, a lot of times that DPS is not actually standing to take hits, for one, but two, if the healer is actually using their heals, then, yeah, tanks don't even need to mitigate. That mitigation is there to be nice to the, Remember that you have an earthly knit shirt. It's true. I have to get one right away. Please sell it to me, please, please, please. How much? Sold. So Frisk is playing, so I apologize if you can hear that in the background. Yeah. I mean, it kind of falls into the same argument as the people being like, oh, but the game was designed for wall-to-wall tanking, except it clearly wasn't. If you look at how the dungeons are laid out, they're designed to simulate regular Final Fantasy game encounters as you move through the dungeon. Groups are very specifically set out to be an encounter. And then you move a little further and you find another encounter. And then maybe you go a decent little stretch without an encounter. And then you go a little further and find another encounter. And then maybe you find, you know, a room where there's actually 2 encounters right on top of each other. That's that's just a big encounter. You know, that's how Final Fantasy games work. This isn't anything new or special. But the fact that you can wall-to-wall, well, that's just a result of healers having generally more healing power than they actually need, and tanks being able to mitigate damage, thus helping out the healers. Like, the fact that the tanks, with their mitigations and their own various heals, can more or less make healers redundant, goes to show you just how over-equipped for healing healers are. And that, more or less, also shows how kinda pointless mitigations are if healers were actually doing their jobs and not DPSing. I mean, the argument I've heard a lot is like, well, you know, tanks have enough mitigations to always have one running. It's like, yeah, once they have all of their mitigations at like level 60, 70 something, they can always have one running. Before that, there will be downtime. And it won't always line up with the boss, which is rather funny. Tanks don't really use mitigations during boss fights, because there's not enough incoming damage. Most boss fights, a healer can just set up a regen on everybody, and nobody will die. You'll just be safe and fine. Like, that honestly feels like how the game was meant to be. But, you know, people will be people, and they gotta hyper-optimize absolutely everything about it. And then act like the way they've hyper-optimized it is the way it was intended. It's like, but it's not. Like, that would be like me saying that, oh, the intended way to, I don't know, frickin'... What would be a good example? The intended way of putting, you know, building a stool is to, you know, you gotta, you know, you gotta take your stool seat, you gotta take your legs, you gotta screw them in, then you gotta get triangles, lots of triangles. You need at least like 8 triangles per leg, and you know, you build the most sturdy, you know, unwavering stool you could ever see. And you'd be like, yeah, that is the way of making a stool. There's no other way of doing it. If you're not doing it that way, that is not how whoever invented the stool wanted you to make one. Like, it's that sort of thing. Or, you know, to put it in a game context, it would be like an Animal Crossing speedrunner showing up in the chat, showing up in my comments and being like, what are you doing? You should be, you know, already done everything by now. If you've been playing for 116 days, like, you should more than be done. It only takes like 80 hours to finish everything, and you've more than probably played that. It's like, get to, like, what are you doing, man? You're not playing right. The other day, I went shopping with Paula, An impulse, I got my number 23 shot done. Then I thought about what I had done, and I realized I have no use for that type of thing. Yes, you do, actually. No dice, put it on. Wear it. Get out of that horrible shirt. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this one. I've yapped a really long time about 14. Summary at the end is that, you know, I'm hopefully optimistic, but I'm not gonna hold my breath that 14 is going to become an amazing gameplay experience. And I'm not gonna hold my breath on Shadowbringers actually being, like, emotional, or, you know, it might, it might do some things in that regard, but they're gonna have to do a lot of work to make me care about these people. Like, and I don't think they're gonna manage it. Especially where there's been multiple moments, even through like Stormblood, where people are like, basically like, oh, that was such an emotional moment. And I'm just here like, I don't even know who those people are. Like, I've not had any connection with them at all. I've never felt a drive to learn more about them either. But yeah, that's it for this one. I thank you all very much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you back here tomorrow, where I will probably not be rambling about 14. See you all then.